Okay, last week we talked about the role of pretty much building, developing and marketing mobile applications, right? But there is an important element that connects these services together, okay? And that is what mobile cloud services are there for. So in today's session we want to talk about mobile cloud services, and some of the things that we want to cover are pretty much a definition of mobile cloud. How do we define this service and why that is important? Then we will see some of the services that are provided using a mobile cloud service, and then also limitations and opportunities that this service brings to us. Now, the reason why mobile service, in general mobile cloud services, are that it enables customers and businesses, right, to create a journey that no matter which device you're searching from, you'll still be in one customer journey, right? So you might be able to start with the mobile before you make a purchase, right, in bookers.com. But that same journey can be picked up from any other device. It can be picked up from a laptop, it can be picked up from PC, it can be picked up from a tablet, any other device. And in a way, that's what mobile cloud services do. They connect services together. So what that means is that those companies who do that make it really easy for the customers, right, to shop with them. Imagine you spend half an hour searching for your most convenient flights to Australia, right? Before you went to sleep. And then as soon as you shut down that application, or you quit that application on your phone, the next day, you have to start from scratch on your laptop or on your PC. Because it hasn't remembered anything. And in a way, all of those activities happen behind the scenes. So they're at the infrastructure point of view. And that's why cloud services are important. So, what are the three main things according to Shelton 2013? Well, according to his research, and in a way to also trends that are happening today, is that clouds and mobile and social go hand in hand. Right? And these are the trends that are picking up recently, really pretty much. And the reason for that is because mobile are becoming really, really intelligent in terms of the tasks that we can do with them. Right? And they're not small, they're super small, really. When you think about how much you can do with a mobile, it's incredible. In a way, things that you can do with a mobile today, you probably couldn't do it some years ago with a PC. Right? So that's how good they are. The next one is social. Social is changing everything. It's changing the way we communicate with each other. It's changing the way we communicate with businesses. It's changing the way we communicate with family and other people in our universities or studies or places like that. Right? So it's absolutely essential that we understand how these three play a big role. And then on top of that, we have the cloud. And I told you why, in a simple language, why cloud is important. Okay? Because, again, most of these services in the mobile and the social are enabled by the cloud. Because the cloud is the infrastructure behind the scene that does just that. Now, an infrastructure where both the data storage and the data processing happen outside of the mobile device. So, what you have in your hand and the services you use is just the front-end piece of information you get in a nicely put application. But most of the activities that happen in the processing of information and data of hundreds of thousands of pieces of information happens behind the scene. And in most cases, those happen in different servers. Right? So that's what mobile service is. Now, if you look at another version, good examples, for instance, of mobile cloud computing applications, including mobile like Gmail, Google Maps, and some navigation apps as well. Now you know that when you read an email in your Gmail website in your PC, as soon as you read it and you go and open the same Gmail account in your iPhone or iPad, then obviously it will show that the email has been read. And that's pretty much a cloud behind the scenes synchronizing both services for you. So in other words, picking up things where you left. Okay, and that push notification that you get, right? And all of those things are enabled by the infrastructure behind the scenes. And you can see why that is important. Now, why mobile cloud services? Let's look at some of the important elements when it comes to the mobile cloud services and why they are really important. Well, the first one, let's look at one of the major things in the mobile industry today, and that is the battery. Now, if applications, right, and software, whatever you call them, installed in your mobile phone are used solely in the mobile native device, it will use lots of battery. You know, it really drains the battery, right? But according to research, 45% battery on mobile devices get saved just because we're using back-end mobile services, mobile cloud services. So in other words, the biggest analysis that are done behind the scene, not within the device, right? So this way, all those hard crunching numbers and data analysis of thousands or maybe millions of information happen behind the scene. So for instance, when you open your skyscanner.com, whatever application in your phone, right? And you start searching for things, right? All those processes to find the best flight for you, the cheapest flight for you, is actually not done in the mobile phone. You can see, you get a feel that it's actually done on the mobile phone, but the mobile phone just renders information. Everything happens behind the scene through the servers. And the infrastructure that, for instance, Skyscanner has invested in, right? And the next one is, of course, saves energy as well, in terms of, in general, so it's quite green. And then saves storage space. Now, if you had an account, for instance, with Dropbox, right? Most of you use Dropbox probably. If you were to save all that information in your mobile phone, like 10 gigabyte or 15 gigabyte or 16 gigabyte, that will fill your iPhone in. So you couldn't do anything else. But because mobile service from Dropbox has got processes put in place where everything is saved behind the scene in the server, it keeps your iPhone free of all this data, but only with the Dropbox application. You know that if you don't have internet, most likely you won't be able to serve any of your documents in the Dropbox, simply because Dropbox saves all those information in a server somewhere. Okay? Now, when you talk about cloud, you've got to remember one thing. Cloud is about the infrastructure that is put in place to enable that communication between devices. And that infrastructure is actually hardware. You know, you've seen the cloud, my first slide, it looks all cool, it's like in the cloud. But it's not just like that. Behind the scene, as infrastructure that is really expensive to invest to be able to build that cloud services. So there are servers behind the scene that connect to each other through the network to enable us to offer these services. Of course, the next thing, which is really important as well, is efficiency and processing tasks remotely. So again, if we go back to Dropbox, we can do things, we can edit, delete files, all sorts of things remotely without having to have all those files downloaded into our mobile devices. And so, not just that, but all other types of services as well. Now, most companies will have mobile cloud services included in whatever they're offering. That is because, of course, of these key reasons, which are part of the research outcome done recently by several authors, including Hong, Chan, and some others. Now, what are the key challenges? Well, one of the key challenges when it comes to mobile cloud services is low bandwidth, right? So bandwidth is always a challenge. And the reason for that is because obviously if you have heavy files that needs loading in your machine or in your mobile, right? Or in your mobile application, it takes a really long time to get things done. And that's always a problem. Lack of networks like Wi-Fi, 4G, 3G, right? And that really makes it hard. So from the business perspective, if companies are offering really fantastic mobile cloud service, but the lack of networks is it's a big problem, then pretty much it's like not having anything. So that's why what companies are doing now is that they're scanning their place, their location that they're offering these services to make sure that their users do have access to different networks to connect to the internet, right? Because otherwise it's useless. It's like having the smartest mobile app, right? But then when you go out there, you don't have, let's say, you don't have a coverage. You don't have 3G or Edge or anything like that to do anything. And we know with Edge connection, it's pretty much just so slow, it's hard to get anything done. But with the 3G, it's easy, it's straightforward, you can do that. It works. 4G, of course, it's much faster, 3 times faster than 3G, so it's much better. Now, the other thing is availability. How much available some of these services are. So when you build them, what's their availability when it comes to the customers to connect with these services? Then, of course, the next one is quality of service. Can you deliver? One of the big challenges, according to research, is that some of these mobile cloud services can't be delivered. Simply because the quality of the service that is developed by companies and is put in place through the infrastructure and mobile cloud services is not of good quality. Which that means that the experience that the user gets is not good enough. I'm sure there have been times when you started to use your mobile cloud services through your mobile phone, but you maybe were not even aware of it. Okay, because there are lots of things we take for granted, but if you start to analyze them, you kind of appreciate how hard it is to build some of these solutions, and that becomes a problem. So users today won't use any mobile cloud service unless they really do a good job. Right? So it's an important element to keep in mind. And of course, pricing. Sometimes some of these services can be very expensive depending on the company that you use, but of course it can be sometimes expensive for the customers too. So those are the key challenges, but again, lack of networks is the biggest one. Now, what is the proposed architecture which was provided by Hong et al. And some other authors as well in 2013? It's something that they came up with called Intelligent Radio Network Access. So what they did is that, put it simply, they said, let's just scan every network possible in the area, whether it's a Wi-Fi, 3G, 4G, whatever it is. Let's just make sure we have all of those networks connected to each other, right? And so synchronize in a way that if a customer can't get to 3G or 4G, we can get him to a Wi-Fi connection somewhere, right? So which means that we're already getting rid of that problem whereby there is no coverage of network. So with this model, they said we will be connecting different services together so that the user will have somehow, at some point, an opportunity to connect to local Wi-Fi or to like 3G or 4G service. So that is the element that was suggested by Hong and some other authors. What are some of the key services in the cloud? Now, the first one is, of course, platform as a service. And some of these companies that do that are APIs, Google App Engine, and things like that. So platform is used as a service. And then you have software as a service, web-based software like Google Docs, Google Maps, Gmail, Facebook, right? Where software is as a service provided in the cloud. Then you have network as a service, and normally they're like APIs that connect different large companies with different APIs. Now, let's see some of the most popular services. Of course, Apple iCloud is really popular one. And the reason for that is because, again, it enables us to connect all our devices with the cloud. So, from your email to your applications, to your photos and everything else, can be enabled because of the cloud services. Right? And then again, that reason alone helped Apple achieve a greater success, right? Because it helped all its customers to be connected with their services and not let them go away, right? Until Apple managed to connect the dots, right? From the web to devices and then to the customers and other services, made possible for us to, instead of saying, oh, we're going to use third-party services, we'll stick to Apple. Simply because Apple said, okay, you're using Flickr, right? But we can offer you services in the cloud for photos, right? You can just save photos in your stream, in your iPhone, and it will automatically send to the cloud that you can access from any device you want. Boom, Flickr is out, right? Okay? And they say, what about the email? I want to use email, and then when I read some emails in my mobile device, and then I go into the website, I will be able to just be notified that I've read those emails. No problem, we'll give you that too. And start using less Google, Hotmail, or other services, right? The other thing is, of course, oh, how about mobile applications? I've downloaded some mobile applications on my iPhone. How about I'll be reminded about those applications when I go into the iPad? No problem, we'll give you that too. So as you can see, they connect these services together to make sure that they provide Apple ecosystem online, right? That's the entire thing, right? Provide the mobile cloud service, provide the content, which is in this case for Apple is like App Store, music, TV, shows, and all of these in the iTunes. All of these services with the content connected to each other give you Apple ecosystem, whereby you will never leave Apple to go in another service. You see, now Apple has already launched in the US iTunes Radio, right? Directly shutting down, or actually at least competing with Shopify, with Spotify. With Spotify, right? And again, straight away saying to you, no, you don't need to go anywhere because we'll give you that service for free. And that's why if you use Spotify, you have realized that recently they're offering you a limited amount of hours to listen to music for free. And if you want to download them, you can purchase individual songs, right? And you wonder why that is the case. Because iTunes Radio is coming. And as soon as it reaches Europe, and hopefully starts with the UK first, and with the updates in the iOS 7.1, I thought that I'm going to see that, but it didn't. So I guess it's going to take a bit of time before they launch it in the UK. But again, you can see why the ecosystem means a lot to the companies. Because through their ecosystem, they launch other services, and in a way, sometimes they kill competition too. Big fish eat small fish. And the ecosystem makes that just possible. And how that ecosystem is possible? Well, it's with the mobile cloud services put in place. So no matter what device you're in, you can pick up on that journey anytime you like. And throughout those different devices that you use in Apple ecosystem, you will have key applications that you've always wanted. And so that's why that makes a big difference. Now, when you start to look, of course, as I said to you earlier, now it's not just photos, it's not just email, it's not just your calendar and your diaries and things like that, it's actually everything else. They're even offering now Keynote and Pages and other document applications for free. So you can download them, you can use them on the web for free, and then use those services to connect things with each other. So in other words, they are giving you, in these Apple ecosystem, they're giving you everything. Why? Because they don't want you to go anywhere. They want you to stick around and use their services. If you make it a document, there is pages that enable you to do just that. And then it saves to the cloud, so you can pick up the work from your mobile to the tablet and to the PC anytime you like, thanks to the cloud. In addition, you started editing something, a spreadsheet in Numbers. Numbers is an application just similar to Excel. You can pick that up straight away from the web or from the PC anytime you like. Now, you can see they're consistently doing that to introduce other services so that you can stick around for a longer time. Because that to Apple means money. Because they will sell you things, they'll sell you services, they'll sell you subscriptions, they'll sell you those songs, they'll sell you those movies, they'll sell content to you. And with the mobile cloud services, they can sell anything they want. Now, of course, the next big thing is the payment opportunity using a mobile phone and the iTunes U. And the iTunes channel. Why? Because they've got this huge amount of customers that are signed up with Apple.
This is the iPhone 4S with iCloud. Now, when you download a song on the go, it's there when you get home. Make a change on the way to work, and it's waiting when you get there. Bookmark a page on this, and it's ready on that. Now, the things you do on your phone are everywhere you want them, automatically. iCloud, on the most amazing iPhone yet.
Now, you can see why that makes our lives so much better. Because there might be situations where we're in the office, we're working on our PC, right? But then as soon as we leave the office, there's only one device we have with us most of the time, and it's our mobile phone. So you can see how important it is for us to be able to pick up work wherever we live. And that is what the cloud makes it possible. So if you forget anything, keep this in mind. So the cloud connects customer journeys together. So it helps you get things done from different devices in different places. Now, Google Docs is of course another service. Now, Google is trying, of course, just like Apple is doing, is trying to introduce other services within their own cloud so that you can stick around as much as possible. Now with Android as well, their own mobile operating system, it becomes a lot easier because what? They will make default applications on the Android like Gmail, Calendar, documents, all sorts of things in their own operating system. Why? Because again, you can do the same thing. You can start editing things in your mobile, continue with the same thing in a tablet or on the web in a PC, right? So in a way, it's doing exactly the same thing. And when you look at the services, of course, and especially at the Google Docs, you start to see that actually you can do anything you like, from forms to spreadsheets to documents to presentations, anything you like, and all of those changes that you made will be there in the cloud. And I've got an example I used a few years ago about a love letter that a group of friends have written together because of the cloud service, and I want to show you that. You might have seen it already. sense. You have a group of friends working together in the same document, right? And that was just an ad that Google did to kind of promote their services in the cloud. They document editing in the clouds all together continuously at the same time, right? Now, all of that, imagine if you had, for instance, to exchange emails between each other. You probably end up sending 20 emails back and forth before you get to that moment, right? So, collaboratively working together in one thing, which is enabled by the cloud, makes it so easy for the customers to get things done. Of course, the next one is Dropbox that we already talked about. And of course, Dropbox is a web-based file hosting service which uses the clouds all the time to enable users to share, store, and share files anytime they like. And of course, synchronize them with the cloud using different devices. So again, if you uploaded a file in your iPhone or iPad, whatever it is, then you would pick up the same file whenever you go into their website. And of course, founded in 2007 by MIT graduates Drew and Arish.
You've been there. You're about to buy lunch and realize your wallet is in your other pants. Or maybe you left your keys at home. The problem is organization. You need one place for everything, like a magic pocket. Putting something in the magic pocket means it's always there, no matter what you wear or where you are. The same thing is true for computers. If you have more than one, keeping track of all of your files can be a pain. Solving this problem is one of the big ideas behind Dropbox. It's like a magic pocket, a single, secure place for all of your stuff. Let's meet Josh, who is preparing for a big trip to Africa. Right now, all of his trip info is spread across his laptop, desktop, and phone. He needs to consolidate it all and is tired of having to email files to himself or move them around with a USB drive. Then he found Dropbox, which creates a new kind of folder on his computers. These folders work hard to be exactly alike, even across Macs and PCs. By adding his itinerary to his laptop Dropbox, he can be sure the same file will show up in his desktop Dropbox and even on his phone. The same thing happens when he saves a document in a Dropbox folder. The document gets updated across all of his Dropboxes. But it's not just his computers. The Dropbox website also works to be exactly like his other Dropboxes. Anything he puts in Dropbox is available on the website automatically. This way, if his Jeep takes a dive and his computer is ruined, he can still get to his files on the Dropbox website, where they're always backed up. As it turns out, Josh's Safari was a success, and his laptop made it home with lots of videos and photos to share. Instead of emailing everything, he just shared a Dropbox folder with his mom, so she could get copies of photos she wants to frame. Because it worked so well for travel, Josh made Dropbox the home for all of his stuff, so it's accessible anytime, wherever he goes. Whether you're traveling the world, running a business, or simply organizing your life, Dropbox means you can stop worrying about managing files and backups and get on with your next adventure. You can download Dropbox now at getdropbox.com.
I think that's probably the best kind of description of a mobile cloud service. Okay, it just shows you exactly why this kind of service matters and how this is beneficial to all of us. Now, of course, let's look at some advantages. When you look at different services, now of course you've got Windows doing everything to improve and optimize their cloud services. Yeah.
I have a Windows Surface tablet, and it's actually quite annoying in some ways, etc. Because, for example, I can't sync my Google Calendar with it because they don't allow that. The only browser you can use is Internet Explorer, and they don't let you download Firefox or Chrome or anything else. And a couple of the other services have been a bit limited, but otherwise it's been all good.
Okay. So when did you get your Surface?
So I got my Surface around, I think I got my Christmas this year.
So you're happy with it, with the kind of experience?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the experience, but I know some of the, obviously, it'd be nice if you could sync your Google Calendar easily with it, etc. But
it seems like Microsoft is becoming even more close than Apple used to be. Because with Apple, obviously, you can download Google Calendar and other applications as well that enable you to sync things together. So, again, you can see that doesn't matter how good the device is, if you do not allow, or if you don't enable these mobile cloud services, you're missing the point, right? Because it can be the best device ever, and as soon as you disconnect this phone from network, it pretty much means nothing. I can't do much with it. I could probably play a game if I have one, or I could read something, but at this tiny screen, probably no more than an hour and I'll be tired already. So you can see why mobile cloud services are core and the heart of everything, really. What limitation, of course, we talked about that, but just to reiterate them, the Wi-Fi bandwidth, not network coverage, and mobile browsers. You can have the best cloud services in the world, but if where you're offering, people have no connection or very poor network, then obviously it's not going to do much to anyone. And so that's why what's happening now, Facebook is probably the most interesting company in the world today. Now what they're doing, they're saying, okay, we'll reach 1 billion, how can we get more people to join in? So they are partnering with other companies to offer network connection in developing countries where customers can only access some of the Facebook services and maybe some other companies in internet.org project, right? So in other words, they're saying, okay, it doesn't matter how good we are with Facebook. If people in developing worlds have no access to it, it's going to be useless. So what they're doing, they're going in the heart of the problem, and that is the network coverage, internet network coverage in developing countries. And now they're partnering with different network providers there to introduce these services for free, okay, for a certain amount of time, just so you could use Facebook, right? So Facebook is investing lots of money, but that is part of their strategy, because they have already reached out a peak in a way in the developing world, because most of us are connected to the Facebook because we have internet connection wherever we go. So that's just an example to show you a company like Facebook that is saying, okay, let's do anything we can, let's make sure that these customers, potential customers, or these visitors in the developing world, they can access our services as well. And as soon as they access it, they like it, okay, maybe for additional services they will end up paying our provider, network provider there. And of course, opportunities, when we look at the numbers, are absolutely astonishing. Annual growth of 88% in the next 5 years is expected in the mobile cloud services. So what that means business. That means business because as soon as you have a synchronized service or a customer journey that I call, that means that you are likely to sell more. You're likely to convert those visitors into customers. Because you're making it so easy for them to serve, browse, and identify services and products that they will probably stick around and buy your services too. You would move to desktop website only if you couldn't get something done with the mobile. As long as you can get things done with the mobile, you would not access desktop website at all. Because when you go in your PC, you will do something else instead of trying to finish something useful in your mobile phone. And the other thing, of course, by the end of this year, we expect to have around 5.9 billion pounds in sales and success in the Android platform alone. Now, of course, mobile cloud users tripled in 2011. So it's incredible simply because, as I said to you, it's connecting things together that's making our life a lot easier. And of course, one of the biggest things now is the HTML5 hypertext markup language, latest technology that enables us to build applications that work offline. So in other words, you might be able to have really good service within your app, but if that service needs internet connection all the time, that's going to be a bit of a problem. because we know, reality tells us, that there is a huge amount of customers that don't have access to the internet all the time, but they might still need your service. And that could be document application, or that could be a game, or that could be any other service as well. So in a way, HTML5 is enabling us to build things that could actually help us when we're offline as well. Now, an activity that I'd like you to analyze further and test and research more about in terms of the usage and also what customers think are the two ones, iCloud versus Dropbox. So I want you to do some research, understand in details the differences between these two services, and of course why customers tend to use one or the other more, and also try to see some case studies on these companies as well, which then we will be discussing in the tutorial. Okay? And so it's absolutely important that you kind of start to understand more about these services, because it just gives you a better idea about mobile cloud services.